And we're back. We all been playing some video games?
Well, I sent this to the group of Janet and Chia.
Yeah, our
39
secret
hours,
group chat.
27 minutes.
Wait. You have a group chat?
Who said what?
What?
Well, there are different
What do
group
you mean
chats
group
just
chat?
based on when this is okay. This is not exclusionary, Rob. When people every time that we do the podcast, there's different group chats for the group that is assigned for that podcast. But sometimes that does become a group chat if like the three of you or whatever are playing something like. Are you upset that you're not getting Silksong updates?
Is that all that's happening in a group chat?
Yeah.
Pretty much. It's like it's like Mexican Silksong memes and solidarity over the different sections of the game. You're good. But yes, I did send Janet and Chia in the definitely not exclusionary group chat that we have.
That you're not in.
That where I
It's
wrote
different than exclusionary. It's
screenshot.
including all of us,
Right.
which happens not to have you there.
39 hours, 27 minutes, 20 seconds is when I hit credits on Silksong, or at least a version of credits, which is something I guess we could get into. But I did finish. I beat a boss that leads you to a very kind congratulations message from team. I always like when a game.
One day I'll get that kiss on the forehead from Toon Cherry.
It's really cute. Like it's more than just like thanks for playing. It's like a very sincere sort of message about playing the game and acknowledging, you climbed a mountain and like, hey, you got over it. Now the question is,
Was Ben Foddy there?
did I?
I was thinking that
Benefati is
too.
not. Benefati is not there. So I think it's I want to talk about that and sort of where I'm at with the game, but I think before we get there, I do want to ask where y'all have ended up. Janet, check in.
Yeah, I had to go into physical recovery because my hands and arms
Oh, God.
were shot from the intense gaming that Silksong requires. Nothing makes me realize that I haven't played a video game that involves challenging movement in like 3 years or something. Because all that, like, I've played games that are challenging, but like turn-based or something. So it's a Claire, it's a turn-based. Some real-time action, that's it. Slay the Spire, turn-based. So it's like, oh yeah, I haven't been moving very much. I've just been, my gaming muscles have atrophied from just selecting
Twitch
different menus.
specifically, right? Like sort of Twitch action platforming has a certain duress on the fingers, and also it's repetitive, right? You're just doing it over and over.
Plus,
like,
sometimes you're just clenching the controller and you don't realize how tight your grip is. And also, I've been putting in heavy hours as well into the game. Like usually when I play, I'm playing for like hours, not like a quick session.
Mhm.
So I lost some time on there, and then I've also realized I gotta beat this Persona game if that I want to beat before my wedding, which is gonna take a lot of hours also. But
Is
I
that
still
gonna
did put,
happen?
I think
Wedding's
so.
awfully close.
Take your bets now. Take your bets now. I'm
How many hours do you have? Tell me that.
in the game
In Persona.
in Persona 5.
Persona 5.
164.
Oh,
You must be right around the corner.
I'm in the. I have 2 dungeons remaining.
Oh.
It's 5.
Persona
so
Persona 5's main story is 97.5 hours long. Main plus sides is 113. Completionist is 173.
what's not
according to
included
how
in
long
there
to beat.
is the streamer time, because I've
Yeah,
streamed the
that is a
entirety of
buffer
the game.
for sure.
Yeah, I'd be yapping, so it just it's the time. Plus, I did stop reading those kids' text messages though. I'm like, we're not reading, because I used to read like everything a lot. So anyway, but I have 2 dungeons left. I think I can do it. I'm like, audience, I know you don't like to see it, but we gonna do that crunch, baby. We gonna be in here crunching away. I know I'm like, when you guys hear your podcast with the review thoughts, you never want to see how the sausage was made, but this is what I'm doing off camera sometimes, guys. I'm sorry. Anyway, but I did play more Silksong. I finally made it to Act 2. I was in Act 1 for so long.
So you beat Last Judge.
I beat Last Judge.
That genuinely, that was, I think when we talked about this earlier, that was one of the ones where I was like, maybe this would be a check moment for Janet on like where she's at with the game, whether she's enjoying it enough to push past this specific boss. So, like, genuinely, congratulations! Like, I'm very excited that you've liked the game enough that you wanted to push through that. Because playing that boss, even for me, was like, like I know I can do this. I'm gonna keep going, but it is one of those moments that the game presses on you in a way that I could understand wanting to say, maybe not for me.
Feel like, because you said that, a lot of people have said that about Last Judge. My fiance also really struggled with Last Judge. I thought Last Judge's difficulty was a little overhyped for what I personally experienced. The run back is a pain in the ass, though, with that little fly that's like placed to be like annoying. And the one thing that I've not wavered on is my hatred of the run back in this game and any game. I don't think that's going to change.
The one in BioWater has me on your side in that
I haven't done it, but I've seen it.
If I could mod the game, I would, and no jury would convict me as a result.
Oh, definitely not. But yeah, but I'm still just really enjoying, the exploration of everything. And I'm excited to get my next ability so I can go back and clean up the Act 1 kind of area as much as I can. I think the thing that really stands out to me the more I play, and I think it does also, we talked about this already a little bit, so some of my stuff isn't like terribly like new in terms of like thoughts on the game, but part of what makes it great is also part of what makes it trip up a little bit in certain spots. Like, I think this is one of the most, if not the most dynamic Metroidvania like I've ever played in terms of abilities for people to deviate and do different things, and depending on the order that you get, whether they're abilities or tools, which are like kind of secondary weapons you can use in the game to engage in combat, can just really like change your experience. And I think that's really fun and interesting and makes the game really feel like an adventure. I think it also helps skirt the Metroidvania problem of, so often in a Metroidvania, you'll hit these walls where you don't know where to go next, and you're just like, what do I have to do? I feel like I've been everywhere. You keep repeating it. And those are like when Metroidvanias are at their weakest. And what you want to get in a Metroidvania is to feel like you're about to hit that, but to never fully hit it. And that's like the sweet spot. I think, games like Dread, I think nail that, where it's like, I'm right on the edge of getting lost, but I don't really quite go over. I'm sure Ori, that franchise has its moments like that as well. Silksong never fully has that because there are constantly so many places to go that like the thought of being lost feels like an impossibility, but it still feels like an interesting place to explore, and you still get those pops of, ooh, this is a place where I know that if I had a way to get higher, I could go here. Maybe I mark it, maybe I don't, because you can zoom in on the map and really just see very clearly these open passageways that usually are pretty accurate. Like, they don't do a lot of they do this sometimes, but it doesn't lean as far into the annoying part of Metroidvania map where it's like, oh, this is a spot I haven't been. Oh, actually, it's a door you open on the other side. Like, they have a little bit of that, but it's not so much that you end up wasting time going back to places. That stuff's great. The con of that, though, is that there are times where, because the world is also dynamic, you might be changing things without knowing that you're changing things, or things might be slipping through your fingers that you're not aware of. And I think sometimes that can hit in a negative way. Like, I'll never forgive the map person not being there when I came back to the Hunter's March or whatever, because that really changed like my experience for the game, and for like in a negative way. And I think was at the antithesis of what the game positions and what players kind of glean from the game, which is that if you're having a hard time with something, just go explore and come back later. There's so much to do at all times in Silksong. And I'm like, yeah, there was. But then I got fucked over, and who was there to help me? No one. It was me, myself, and I, bitch, who had to get through that stuff. So that does make me. I did do it, but I didn't like doing it. And if I knew what I knew now, I would have done it earlier. You know what I mean? Like, and it felt
there
like
wasn't anything you received during the time away that helped in the fight.
There was, like, I think I did gain an ability, but I've looked into it further, and I don't think that ability is what I think it's something about like if you trigger it enough, but then you come back. They're not there. I don't really know, and that's the other thing. And I feel like
I'm not
I don't
saying
know
like
in a
about
way
what
that's
triggered it. I just mean like, was there anything? Because this is what I usually find.
I think I got like a dash, or something. But everyone had the dash by the point. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that goes back to the order thing, where I think sometimes that does in the interest of surprise and novelty and intrigue, sometimes I think you can like trip over yourself a bit in terms of like what experience you walk away from in a way that feels like a negative. But yeah, this is also just like, I think what the reason I've been able to play this game, despite it being a combat focused game, and I'm not a big combat person, is that there's a lot of platforming in this game, and jumping is a big part of this game. So it's like, the more I can jump, the easier I can fight, because this is just jumping. It's also what I really liked about Ori as well, which, and I know Ori predates Hollow Knight, and playing Silksong / having seen Hollow Knight, I do see a lot of Ori in this, and like I like that game a lot because it's a Metroidvania where you're jumping, and this is also a Metroidvania where you're jumping. So it's been going good. Obviously, I still have fears for some of the future stuff. Whenever I see like a boss I haven't gotten to like on social, I quickly leave because I'm like, if I look at this, I'm gonna feel like I won't be able to do it. But when I get there, maybe it'll be different. You know what I mean? It's like, let's just give it time. So I really enjoy exploring and stuff, and I always have a little bit of a damn, another boss. And if the bosses are too close to each other, I also don't super vibe with that either. I like to have a nice space out. But you can kind of control that pacing a little bit yourself. So we'll see how Act 2 goes.
If you can do the
my
judge,
adventures,
you could reach the point that I made it to.
And I'm 30 hours in. Everyone who beats this game beats it in like 38 hours, and I'm taking 92 hours to play this game.
No, you're
and you
good.
know what?
You're
That
good.
just
You're
is what
good.
it is. That is just what it is.
You're just being thorough. I'm at 37 hours. I don't know what the end of, or like where like the end, quote unquote, of Act 2 in Silksong is, but I still haven't found Bile Water.
But
That is really
you're
funny.
in Act 2, right?
I am.
You've
And
been
I've
given
been-
a task, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, okay.
task.
Yeah.
Task.
No,
But that
I mean,
task can take as long as you want it to
right.
be.
Right.
I mean, there are 3 things to collect in Act 2. When you collect those 3 things, you unlock the ability to go finish one version of the game.
Interesting. I don't have that yet, actually. I'm one
What?
I'm one step before then.
So you haven't done the last judge?
No, I did the last judge.
Oh.
Wait,
Yeah, she's in Act 2.
Yeah.
But I just started
Once
Act
you're
2.
in
I
Act
haven't
2,
gotten...
no
one's told me
maybe you
anything.
just haven't gotten
Just
to the spot
walking.
in the Citadel, right? But there's a spot in the Citadel as you explore it. You talk to some people and they're like, "Hey, man, go collect these 3 things,"
oh, okay.
and then they get marked on your map.
Yeah, no, I haven't gone that far yet. I hit a boss, and I was like, this boss seems interesting. I could probably just finish it a few times, but then I was like, I feel like I'm missing things.
Which boss?
The clock one.
Clock one.
The
Clock one?
dancers.
The Clockwork Dancers?
Yeah.
Okay. That's one of my favorite bosses in the game.
They're
It's really
the
neat.
pair,
I did-
right?
Yeah.
I did like 2 attempts, and then walked
I
away
also
because
just fought. I did one attempt and then I left, and because I think I think there's a better route to get to them, because the route that I'm taking is really long.
You win.
And I'm like,
You're
I'm not
coming
doing
at
that.
it from the right-hand side, right? That's like the first thing.
I'll
From
open
the-
the map.
from the town, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
they're both-
Well,
they're
also my
both
fiance
more
beat
or
the
less
game already,
same.
so I was like, is there a better route than this route?
There-
And he's
yeah.
like, yeah. And I'm
Janet,
like, okay,
you can
great.
come back. You're good.
Yeah, because I'm like, I'm not doing all that. Even though like the
Well,
boss
it's those
doesn't seem
big
that hard.
dudes, right? The big dudes in the hallway that make it such a pain in the butt,
You
and there's
just
so
jump
many of
over
them.
them. That's what I was doing.
Well, I'm so where I am is I'm at the Grand Beltway.
Mhm.
And like the route that I've currently carved would go from the Grand Beltway to that boss, and that's like a really long route. And there's like a bunch of empty map that I still have like on this side. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna work on that.
Yeah.
And then
yeah.
I really want this next ability though. Like I want this shit so bad because I want to be able to do more stuff.
Which one?
Oh,
which
the
one are
claw
you missing?
line, like the hook shot
I think both. I don't have the hook shot or the wings.
You need a hook
one. Oh,
shot
the double jump.
Yeah,
first, right? I don't have the wings
I think
yet,
you get the double
but
jump first. Wait, you get the hook shot first? I want the wings.
I got hook shot, and you need. Here's what I'll say: you need the hook shot to get the double jump without getting into too much of. There is an order
That
of
kind
operations
of
there.
makes sense, I guess. But
I think
the wings are
Janet,
cute.
You've done the
That's
thing
why I
that
want 'em.
maybe I did too, where there's a kind of like shittier area of the Citadel that maybe you walk through real quick and then left. I would just say go back and go back, just go back. Because I just now realized that I was like, oh, there's actually more to this, isn't there? I went back to that area and then, I'll
send you a picture.
That's what I meant.
And then you can.
But it's like it was one of those things where like I got a lot of the map unlocked in the area of the Citadel that I have access to, and I was like, I feel like I should have hit some new upgrade yet. Let's go explore the rest of the map now that I've kind of had a few extra bits and bobs added, like tools and stuff. So I've been doing that sort of like map sweep exploration, and it's been really, really fun. Still don't know where the fuck Biowater is. I went back to the Sinner's Road. I can't find the entrance. I think I don't know. Maybe I'm just missing it. Maybe it's really obvious that I'm missing something.
I don't have the map for Biowater though, but I was in there and I put a bunch of markers down
for a long time.
Yeah, that's annoying. I don't like that.
You could just leave and then be better equipped at a different time to
yeah, well, I don't have enough abilities to do enough stuff in Biowater anyway. Like I hit like a ceiling pretty early because I got there a lot earlier than I guess a lot of other people did, but
there's really no reason to continue down Biowater.
That's a speed run route. Which is wild. It? Yeah. That's what they're using instead of you can bypass Last Judge basically.
Well, that's what I
and I know that's what Patrick did.
I did that by accident.
I was like, I'm like, you know what? I gotta just do this thing.
Yeah, maybe
which wasn't
Last
too
Judge
bad.
isn't bad.
Last Judge really isn't that bad. The runback's annoying.
Biowater was worse. Unlocking the shortcut through Biowater was materially worse than just dealing with
the Last Judge. Yeah. I feel like the Last Judge runback wasn't as bad because you could just run through it, and they had all those little shortcuts.
Just like
I don't know why that phrase is so funny.
Because it's like the when you ask for a definition, like what's a run back? It's where you run back. Okay. Yeah.
But this time you kind of do.
Well, you really do. Yeah. The someone gave me the advice of the if you really quickly tap jump when you hit the second platform, you can ignore the fly pretty much every time, and the other shortcut's really obvious. So I found that immediately, the little chimney thing.
Yeah, the little chimney thing is nice.
But but that's the thing. It's I feel like the runbacks are either hard, where it's they're challenging and that's kind of interesting or whatever, but I don't want to do that. I just want to work on the boss. Or they're so easy. They're like, actually, it's not that bad. Okay, great. It was not that bad. Why do we have it in here? I'm just on this matter, we will never agree. But I appreciate what you bring. As I reach across the aisle to Shia, I realize she has some good points. Yeah, it's not too bad, but it's just I don't want to be doing I just don't want to be doing it.
There's a way where the runbacks have rewarded different types of play styles, I think, in interesting ways, where there's more paths than you think there are. So
that is also something that's helped a lot too, that I've noticed.
Yeah. If you have a more of an explorer and platforming edge to your the way you want to play, you can often find funny circumventions for what seem like kind of a small mini gauntlet of just having to deal with a bunch of enemies before the boss, which I think is really cool. But also, if you just don't care and want to fight a bunch of things anyways, you can just take the regular route that has a bunch of enemies in it, right?
I need you to get to the Biowater run back because I want to push this ridiculous defense of Silksong to its logical conclusion.
Yeah,
because I feel like the run back in Biowater for a very specific optional. Well, we can get into that. For a very specific boss, takes what you are talking about and drags it as far as it possibly as it could. So if you make it to there and still mount well, you won't be able to do it. What I'm talking about, I think, is pretty late game. That I'm not even sure if you could interface with yet. I forget exactly the order of operations, but it will, Janet, it will stretch Kato's defense of this as far as it possibly could. And if it holds up, then my God,
I think she is going to rock with it. I think because I can already know that. Well, it wasn't that bad. And then you'll say, God damn it, Shia. And then Shia will say, no, hear me out. It's not that bad. Like, you have a couple of rooms. You get to know the rooms. It's and it's kind of priming you for the.
And really, what they're doing is they're giving you the option to regain shards. You get shards again because you're spending tools, so you need the shards again because you have to make sure you have enough to build.
And then the killer end argument from Shia will be, plus it's optional. It's optional. You don't have to do it. It's optional.
Also, like, have you just thought about doing it good? Like, just like don't get hit.
Yeah. So anyway, I think Shia's gonna hold strong on the biowater thing. I've seen it because my fiance was doing that for quite a while.
Yeah.
I think what's funny about Silksong too is like because it is such generally like simplistic enemy movement, like generally, but it's just like kind of the context is what makes it hard, and then like the variables that you can't control. When you watch it, you think you can do it. Because I watched him do it, and I'm like, I feel like I could do this. And then you go to do it, and you're like, shit, low-key hard.
No. Oh, no.
Yeah, it's always like, oh, wait, like, this is like harder than I thought it would be. So now I'm scared or whatever. But yeah, no, it's been quite fun to get into and keep going with. So we'll see how things go. And I think it helps that like things we've talked about before, like the telegraphing of the bosses is very obvious. I think I think the number one thing that makes
the Clockwork boss
doable,
takes that to like such an extreme in a very fun way. Where it's like, no, we're literally going to. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not just telegraph. It's like, well, if we just like put it. The entire boss is built around just dodging a pattern. Is really
still
cool.
got hit though, which is like kind of.
Well, yeah, no, yeah.
Like, oh, you come all the way over here.
Whoa,
my bad.
Why do we have yellow paint in games to show you where to go? Well, because even if you put the yellow paint everywhere in the room, you still might not, you might still get hit by the bucket might still fall on you.
No, definitely big facts.
It's
being able to get the silk to like recover too is like huge for. I mean, that's why I like Lies of P more than pretty much any other Souls game because it pushes me to fight, but it rewards me in fixing my failures. God, I can't be perfect all the time, but I can crawl back. And like Silksong has the chances to crawl back all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm like, well, if I just hit enough enemies, I can kind of keep making progress and going through. Plus ways like I've been freaking lining up them beads on those rosaries nonstop. I catching my beads all the time, which also makes it like wait. Like I think if this game didn't have that, like that's back to my thing of like the Silksong's not just like hard game hard, my design's hard. There's a lot of fucking like hand holding nice shit that's in here. So then it makes the stuff that's missing feel like, you gonna give me one more, Team Cherry, please? not one more, please. But no, they didn't want to. And I was like, why? I feel like you're right there.
Yeah. So I finished the game, or I got what is the equivalent of a bad end.
A bad end?
Wait, after all this?
Oh, yeah, Hollow Knight has something very similar that happens. And when I finished Hollow Knight, I liked Hollow Knight. I don't know that I loved Hollow Knight, but I really liked Hollow Knight. And by the time I finished Hollow Knight, I was done with Hollow Knight. Like, I took the off-ramp. I got the bad end, looked up what was required, some of the boss gauntlets for the better ending, and said, I think I'm good. Like, I don't think I need to keep going. Yeah. And again, I really liked that game, but it's not a game I thought a lot about afterward. I was like, I really liked Hollow Knight. Like, that was a great game. Like, I'd love to play the next one. Like, Silksong is on a completely different level for me personally. Like, I think this is like, a top 10 game of all time. I sort of like, I'm flirting in the top 5 depending on the day that you're asking me. I think it's weaving a platforming and action and difficulty with many qualms that I have with the game. It's just fundamentally such a better game. And personally, I've just responded to it on a much higher level. So I got to the end, an end of the game where this could be the off-ramp. And then my thought was, well, do I take the off-ramp? Like, there's so many other games out right now. Like, I wish I'd already played and finished, consumed me. I didn't get back to Silent Hill F, despite my problems with it. Do I and I haven't played it in 3 or 4 days, and I can feel that tension starting to release. Like, part of the reason I kept turning it on was because, well, one, these games are, beneficial from flow state, right? Where it's like the more you're playing them and you are immersed in the feel you have for it, the more successful you're going to be at pushing progress. If you're taking long stretches of time in between it, there's a ramp up to get good at it again. And so every day I don't touch it, I'm losing that. My problem is the ending to Silksong is so obviously bad end, go do something else. And it's not framed as a choice. Like, hey, do you want to go beat the game? Like, do this. And if you don't want to beat the game and go, like, get good end, go do this. There's literally nothing about the end of the game, unless you were aware of the structure of this game on Reddit, looking at guides, that would suggest to you there is more to do. Because, and this is minor spoilers for how Act 3 works. I don't think this amounts to really much of a spoiler, but just I'll be careful, is you have to do every one of the side quests to unlock one more side quest. That includes tracking down every flea, every sort of, like, kill 17 of these things innocuously between each of the different sort of hub areas of the game. And at that point, another quest will unlock that allows you to sort of begin the secret Act 3 that lets you get sort of the true best ending of the game. And I've heard there's like really cool bosses and stuff to do in that. And yet I find myself so profoundly annoyed that that is the structure, setup, and ask for getting there, that almost out of principle, I want to tell the game to screw off and like not engage. I mean, I think I mentioned this, last, like, the side quests are bad, and they're bad in a way that's disappointing. They are just extra things to do along the way that do not feel up to we spent 7 years like making all of this shit the best it could be. And the parts of Silksong that I have a problem with don't feel like we didn't think about this long enough to come to an interesting conclusion. They made a choice. Like, they made a choice. And maybe I disagree with that choice, but it doesn't feel like it was a shortcut. The side quests in Silksong feel like a shortcut. They're fluff. They're things to do. And you can do a decent amount of them as you're just sort of swinging through the game and doing other things. And sometimes I prioritized that, and sometimes I didn't. And what's left is, I don't know, do you want to sweep through the game's map and consult guides and like do the rest of this game? Do you want to do some fetch quests through the map in the most annoying way possible? And like, I don't know if I do. And I don't think I should be punished by the game for not wanting to engage with, like, I've completed all the challenges you put in front of me. Like, I'm good at this fucking hard game. And yet the hardest thing that sits in front of me is like, do I want to deal with a bunch of repetitive, boring bullshit in order to see the rest of the good stuff? And I haven't made a decision on whether I'm going to do that. I probably will, because I think I like this game enough that the promise of more almost feels like a DLC. But if I could hand wave away all the requirement stuff to get there, which does not feel... Again, I hold this game in such high regard that it's more like, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed that this is the route that was chosen to gate that stuff. It just sucks, because I like the game so much and want to see the rest of it. And this feels like a very goofy... It's different when it's like, hey, super secret ending, we're not going to tell you how to get there. Like, it's so secret. Like, the community's got to put it together. Like, it's not a secret. Like, do the checklist. Like, and then you can get to it. I don't like it. And I find it annoying, but I will most likely do it. But it's a weird way to feel, where it's like, I just finished or rolled credits on one of the best games I have ever played, and there's more of that game. Do I want to trudge through my own personal bile water in order to get there? Which is when games feel like they waste my time for purposes that don't make sense.
This explains why you don't like those platinums, because that's basically what you end up doing. I'm like, time to open the guide.
I guess for me, it's like, is the work interesting, right? Like, I often look at trophies, and the work to unlock that is not interesting. It's just do a thing, right? Like, that's sort of the distinction I would draw between those. And sometimes I just like to be done with the game, right? It's like, I've had my fill. Like, I don't need more of it. And here, again, it's just I hold the game in a high regard and feel like this is the game not reaching that. So my guess is I'll do all that stuff, like, and then the stuff on the other side will be so good that I'll forget about it. But I'm in the weird
Like,
limbo
hey, kids.
between doing it.
Dad needs your help with something, and you just
know.
have your kids do it.
I know.
Did you
Come back.
Did you stop doing those along the way at a certain point? Basically,
No, I've done probably 3/4 of them. Because they were always like you would find your way back to a place, go to the board, pick up
Drop
what's
some
there.
shards in a hole. Just
Yeah,
kind of be
you'd
like,
end up
yeah.
doing enough of it, and I think that is the intended flow of the game. Is that I think ideally what they want is that you've just sort of done most, if not all of it, by the time you finish the game, because it's a kind of game where I guess you can mainline it, but like it's really a game meant to be sort of indulged with exhaustively, like to see all of it.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of it. It's just I went to the Flea Caravan and bought a bunch of maps, and it's now like, do you want to go do all that? It's like, well, usually the Fleas have like a good platforming challenge behind it, so maybe it just feels this is a game where I could spend 3 hours on a boss.
I like the fleas.
And it doesn't feel like it's
like
wasting my
the
time.
fleas, too.
This
Yeah.
feels like
You like the fleas, though, right? Or do you not like the fleas?
I do like that. Like often the flea challenges are fun and interesting. I guess I just fundamentally don't like the idea that now go do 15 more of them in a checklist
Right.
in order to unlock the next bit of story content. The framing of it, I think, is what
Because I feel like the
bothers me
fleas
more
are the
than
best
anything.
side quest. It's like the only
They're
one that
really
I think
good.
is
When
good.
you find one at the
No,
end,
I like
like
them all.
I value that more than a silk upgrade. Is
I don't
like
dislike the other ones. Like I don't feel as anti the side because I've seen this critique as well. Like I know Tom, I think Tom Marks, did that review for IGN for Silksong. And that was a big critique that he had as well. I don't dislike the side quests personally, but I agree that they're not good because like what's good about them other than the fleet? Because it's like I don't dislike them, but it's like. Yeah, it is kind of like
the flea.
But that's
If
also what I
everything
expect
was
from a
the
side
fleas,
quest, where it's like
then it'd be
yes.
like this is a beautiful integration
Yeah,
of
the
what the
fleas are
player is
fire.
doing, matches up with curiosity, exploration, being tasked with something challenging. Like that, the fleas are the most natural integration of a side quest into Silksong, and that's fine.
I do like though the I think what the side quests like gesture at, which like I don't want you to answer this because I don't want to be spoiled on it, but the idea of like providing money and resources for a community, and maybe it's like, ooh, maybe the town changes over time, but that's because I'm like a cheese ball. I like seeing my little guys, and they have their little clothes, and they walk around in their little town. Like so that's the thing that appeals to me about it. So I enjoy the outcome of those things, but like from a structural standpoint, they're pretty dry. But like I would also argue that's kind of like what side quests are sort of like. But I will also argue to say that that the best ones have an angle that feels like it's adding a fun element. So like the fleas or like or like even in I'm personally a fan of like a side quest structure that like is looking at like a vista or like lining up things. Like I like that. Like I think that's fun, good design, even though it's a little dry as well. But yeah, like a lot of them are just find 8 apples, and it's like time to go to the orchard, and it's like, oh, there's only 6 apples here today. I'm gonna go to a bench and then come back, and maybe there's more apple. Like it is kind of like that, and that's not exactly like heat, right? But
Sounds bad.
so yeah.
I don't-
I mean, is it bad?
Yes.
I think they're I find them mid. I don't think they're bad because I've had ones that are. Because
Hang
I feel
on,
like they're not as
hang on,
hard to
I need-
achieve.
I need,
so I think it's more
the
mid than bad.
positive case to be made for. So like, are there there's little requests where it's like
They're just go get 16 little
There's
munchers.
in the thing, there's a wish board, and different people in each
They're
town
called
will
wishes. That's
give
so cute.
will have wishes that they place on the board.
And it says wish promised when you accept it. And
Yes.
it's like, ooh, it's so
Aesthetic
whimsical.
masking.
It's
A
not
lack of
masking. It's the aesthetics are part
I'm
of the
sorry,
whole
we're a
feeling.
little guy,
Like,
a little girl, in a little cloak. Yeah, like
But what you're doing in the fucking video game is farming.
yeah, but it's not. It doesn't take that long, and it makes
Then why
Like-
have it at all?
but she's cute.
because then I get something at the end of it, which is
More
both.
shards that you could collect from enemies?
Sometimes.
Some of them are
And then I can use
rosary.
those
Some
for
of
my
them are,
quest.
but most of them also have something attached to them narratively within the world, where the people react to you differently. Things change at those different towns.
Yeah, and I think that's
Really?
like that's what I
Point.
enjoy of it. But it
Yeah.
doesn't make the thing good though. That means the thing you get.
I would-
It's like
the
if you
thing
wait
in
in
and of
line.
itself
like,
is,
okay,
I think, inoffensive in a way. Like, it's not amazing, but it's a thing I can do while exploring the rest of the town
Well,
anyways.
here's the thing.
So
I
I've
think
never
I
found
had-
them particularly, like,
I had this conversation with my brother in regards to Silksong and just the general conversation, like the idea of critiques and da-da-da-da. It's like, I feel like some of this stuff is a great restaurant, right? Picture a great, this place got the best sandwiches. There's a long line. There's a reason for the line. You're cool with the line. But I think someone's saying, damn, waiting in this long line sucks. I don't think you can say, no, it doesn't suck because the food is so good at the end. The line still sucks. It's just that it's worth it. And I think that's kind of... That's how I kind of compartmentalize something like that.
Some of them have been like the worst ones are the collection ones, although those also aren't as dry as you have to kill X amount of these enemies because it's always you have to pick up a drop that they have. So like in the Citadel, there were certain areas where if they drop there's one that's like collect 10 pins, right, from the people who have specifically that pin weapon. They don't tell you like go to X
That was
place.
my least favorite one though.
I enjoyed it particularly because
it
it was a challenge
it.
about finding the source. Like it's like, oh, I remember those guys had kind of these sword-looking pin things. Like that's probably them. Then once finding them, the other difficulty is when they drop, they're a physics object, and if they drop onto spikes, which there's lots of in the Citadel, they get destroyed, right? So then you're doing this little combat puzzle about, like making sure that you're killing them in a good spot so that they don't drop onto the spikes that destroy them, finding the places, and like exploring the space and kind of like it in that. And like I feel like I haven't seen one of those in a minute.
I also hated
that
that side quest because it wasn't a side quest. You need to do it to get that ability, that next ability. So I also felt like it was
a wish, though,
structurally misleading. What?
It was a wish. It was a wish.
It was a wish.
It was on
but
the
you
wish
needed
wall.
to do
Yeah.
it.
Sure.
So I was like, is this a wish or is something I gotta do? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, yeah. And I found that, and this was like during my worst, like, but I do think Silksong is like weaker in its earlier parts based on the order you get. Because there are people I've talked to where they're like, I was dashing and had different crests like immediately. And I was like, well, whoopee woo for you. My first 8 hours of this game was kind of hell on earth, mixed in with some stuff that seemed kind of cool. And that's now kind of leveled out. But that was one of my early frustrations because that was like the first one. It's like, it was interesting and creative, but it wasn't in a context where I could understand what was happening. So the creativity was lost on me in the midst of my like wandering for an embarrassing amount of time until I figured out what was going on. And by figured out, I mean I saw Isaiah do it and said, "Oh, that's what I need to do." Thank God I looked at the other TV in the apartment.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
I've found them interesting enough in that they tend to give you not the full exact like go to X place and find a thing. It's like here's a generalized like and an enemy type that you've probably encountered, but we're not gonna tell you exactly where they are or like how like you know. And I feel like that one, for example, like and the pincushion one earlier. And like I'm trying to think of other ones, but the other ones kind of like fade away.
It's because I think they are. That's why I would say I wouldn't say they're
to
bad.
Remember them because they're not memorable.
I think bad
that's
is
fine.
like
Parts of
I
the
think
game
bad has
hold
a
on.
layer of negativity to it. I feel like bad has that layer of like negativity, like it's hurting the experience is what I think of as bad. And I can see that you do feel that way, Patrick. So I'm not saying that like that's an incorrect feeling.
It's just.
But for me, it's more. It's not doing it. It's not hurting it for me. It's just kind of is.
It's something that crescendoed with finishing bad end of the game for me, right? In which the thing that did not bother me that much while playing the game, I was like, oh, as I pointed out like last week, but pre getting like sort of the bad ending of the game was, again, like hold this. I think these should be more interesting because the rest of the game is so interesting. My wish for Silksong was like the Hollow Knight didn't have quests. Great, we're adding quests because the world is so much bigger. Like, I just wish they were better. That's fun. Like, this feels a little rote, and I hold it to a higher standard. The reason like I get so irritated, like the reason that I look back on that with even more deep sort of seated criticism is because where it ends up in this portion of the game, where it's like this thing that I already thought wasn't that great is now blocking me from seeing another part of the game that I know is great why did we do it that way?
Which I also
And-
do think kind of comes into like the antithesis of its own design kind of thing, which I get some would argue, well, more of the game is optional. So making you do an optional thing to get to an optional thing is valid. But I feel like in this structure, it's not really.
Ending, that ending is so dispiriting, unsatisfying, and uninteresting.
What do they do in that ending?
It is because it's clearly communicating to the player that the game's not over. In my opinion, I don't think there's anything about you get a credits roll, you get the nice Master Chief Cherry, but it like doesn't feel good. And it's like, okay, well then, give me a better path towards good.
Like Hornet looks at the camera and says, "Do you remember me?" And then the credits hit. Like, what's the how bad are we talking? Because I'm coming from Nintendo. I don't really need much.
You'll see,
If you're giving me nothing, I'm
see.
taking it.
The way it works is, you can finish the game and then just plop back into the most recent checkpoint, and you can just sort of pick up from there. So you can,
The classic structure.
very easily, unlock that part of the game, go fight that boss, which that felt like one I got very lucky on. Like I did it in like 2 goes, and I don't. You know how sometimes you finish.
My fiance had like the same kind of thing.
You finish a hard boss, and you're like. Most kind of like the Bears win this weekend. Like, I didn't earn that one. Felt like that one just kind of happened. Like if I had to do it again, I don't think I could repeat it. It didn't feel like I'd mastered the fight, but I got through it. Yeah. So anyway, like I'll probably keep playing, but it's sort of a weird, frustrating taste to have in my mouth for a game that on the complete other side of my mouth, I'll tell you, is a striking masterpiece.
All right, I can't wait to hear when everyone beats this game. Like, I'm curious to hear if people come around.
40
Patrick.
6 weekends from now.
yeah.
So I'm taking some time off also. So I don't know.
Well, you have to
Give it all-
prioritize this one before the wedding?
No,
No.
definitely not. It's like too big. But I love playing it, especially because my fiance is still playing it because he's further than you are, Patrick. But like in that kind of zone of the game. Like it's been fun it's always fun like when we're playing the same game or just have a game we're playing at the same time, and it's like, oh, what are we doing in the evening? We're gaming, and then we call it like the in-person stream where it's like, oh, the stream's on tonight, and it's like someone takes the TV and they like play Silksong, and that's
so
been fun.
Good.
So I've really been liking doing that, but I also have to make sure my hands don't explode, which I'm being better about. I'm stretching more.
Yeah,
I got my Therabody gun.
Hang on, are you using a pro
fixing that.
controller at all, or are you just like playing it like okay? And even that, your hands are just like
Yeah, well, I find also that this was the first time in a
right?
long time. Yeah, probably the clench, a bunch of other ergonomic things. This is the first time in a long time I've been sore from gaming. It doesn't happen that often. I think in part because so many of the games I've played have been less input heavy.
mm-hmm.
But it's a reminder that, like, if you just take care of yourself as you go, you probably don't have to wait to crash out. So I'm more trying to be like a little aware of like, not running myself into the ground so much. But yeah, I think workday will be Persona 5, and then at night, if I can muster it, I'd love to keep hitting up what is it, Farloom, right? But no, I'm definitely not prioritizing. This I'm taking at like a natural speed. I'm going to consistently be playing it. I don't know that I'm throwing many other games into the mix.
Farloom's the
Is it
whole
just the first
place.
area? Yeah, that's what that's what I meant to say. And yeah,
everything. Yeah.
the all of everything. Yeah, so I've been trying also just to hyper focus on games a little bit more this year. Like I still really like taste testing stuff, but especially with so many games being chunkier this year, I'm like, let me just like
Oh, God.
boom, I beat Clear Obscure. Okay, cool. Oh, I'm gonna hopefully beat Silksong, and then at some point, which that point's basically now because it's October, it's like I gotta start cleaning up what the other hits are that people have been like praising. We'll see. I'm not gonna get to all of them. Rip to Death
Anyone else
Stranding. I'm gonna let
try
y'all
to-
take that. Y'all can have that one. That's not gonna be me, but yeah,
I
it's
feel
been
like you
fun.
gotta